Hey there, everyone. My name is Ash T, and on another episode of Dropouts, I have my very good friend, AJ Ramson, who went from a career in investment banking to a Hollywood comedian. Now, that's a funny story.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming by, AJ. I can call you a very good friend. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I only do this for very good friends.
Perfect. All right.
And I don't even know if I would call it a career in investment banking. It was a very short-lived, short stint in investment banking.
When did you start?
I want to say 2015.
2015.
And ended in 2016. Very abruptly.
You got burned out very quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
Incredibly burned out at record pace. And I just left. I couldn't do it anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But before all that,
Mhm.
your whole life, did you know you wanted to be an investment banker?
I was 100% sure that I wanted to be in finance. If someone asked me what I wanted to do, with 100% certainty, I said I'm going to be in finance for my whole life. And it all started like my dad was in finance, and I remember I would watch him like trade stocks live with all the stock charts. I thought it was so cool. And
When was the first time you saw him trading on a computer?
I must have been like 10.
Okay.
And I thought it was so cool. Like you can just make money just sitting at your computer, pressing a few clicks. And I thought that was so cool. And then I was actually kind of living that life, and I hated it and thought it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah. So all of this love comes from seeing your dad working, and you decide to go to school.
Yeah, and I was
finance.
I was always really good at it. All the finance classes, like those were always the easiest classes. Like it came naturally to me. Everyone said it was a great career. You know, a lot of money in it, obviously. And yeah, I felt really good about it. And I was so wrong. So wrong, yeah.
So you had this analytical mind, this quantitative mind where you could solve any mathematical equation.
Yeah, throw me any mathematical equation, it was solved right away. Yeah.
So then you went to college at
Tulane University.
in
New Orleans.
And you did a major in finance.
Mm-hmm.
And what were your summers like?
What were my summers like? Oh, that's actually a great question, because all my summers were internships at finance places.
Exactly.
Because if you wanted a good job out of college, you had to get an internship. I started freshman year of college, I had an internship, then sophomore and junior. Every year of college, I had an internship. Everyone else.
I remember that. Not your specific experience, but when I was at University of Virginia, like they have, of course, in economics school, I know that people would always do internships over the summer. And so there was never really any breaks.
Right.
And did you love the internships?
No.
Oh, you hated it.
Yeah, no, I hated them. I was really dumb. I should have known. I should have saw it coming from the internships. And I thought like, okay, no, once I'm full time, it's different. Like being an intern sucks for everybody. I should have saw it coming. I did not.
Okay.
Yeah. But even like the first few months of investment banking, I didn't mind it. Like I was like fine. But then over the course of the year, I became more and more depressed and anxious. I started having like anxiety attacks at work, and the stress was becoming too much for me.
How many hours were you working when you were in investment banking? A week?
A week? I think like at least 80, and like sometimes more. I mean, I've slept at the office a bunch of times, and you wake up and do it all over again, and you spent like 48 hours straight in the office.
Oh, so
working.
There were times where you would just stay there for 48 hours.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And that was very common. Like if you tell that to someone, they won't feel bad for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you're just glued to the screen?
Pretty much, yeah.
What are you doing?
You're doing, so what they like to do is they like to assign you a lot of work that's completely unnecessary and it's not even going to be used in the presentations at all. They love that. It's like one of their favorite things. And that's what we were doing. So like we would sometimes, like I'd spend like a couple days doing all-nighters for this big presentation with a big company that's worth billions of dollars and all that stuff. And then it doesn't come up in the conversation.
So you have to do presentations as well?
Yeah.
PowerPoints? Yeah,
a lot of Excels and PowerPoints nonstop.
You love using Excel, right? But
I used to.
but not so much PowerPoint. That's where you draw the line.
No, PowerPoint. No one likes PowerPoint.
Okay.
No one likes PowerPoint.
All right.
Yeah.
So 80 hours, sometimes 48 hours in a week.
Sometimes
straight.
more. I mean, I think I've done more than 2 in a row.
It's like being a doctor.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what it's like being a doctor, but Probably.
Well,
Did you spend multiple days in the hospital or something?
I was coming up in a time where people were really going against working, 36 hours straight. So I kind of got lucky. Also I have epilepsy, so I would say,
You do?
Yeah, I would say I can't work for 24 hours straight or I'll have a seizure, and then I got out of work. So
wow. Oh, that's nice. See, I didn't have the epilepsy excuse.
Yeah, I didn't have that excuse. So sometimes disabilities are nice to have,
Yeah.
You can make excuses.
Especially in the middle of a surgery. That's always nice to come out.
Yeah. All right. So you spent a year being miserable and hating life.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a decision that came. There was a straw that broke the camel's back for you, where I said, I have to get out of this and do something else.
Mm-hmm. I think I would call it like a death by 1,000 paper cuts, like every day. I found myself, so I would come into work at like 8 o'clock or whatever, and I found myself every single morning wishing the day was over, like wishing that it was 10 p.m. or whenever you were able to go home. And I thought that was like a terrible way to live life. Like, I'm just going to keep wishing all my days away until I'm 65, and then what's the point? And,
Did you wish your life was over too? Or?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And then, I mean, at the end, it was extremely depressing. I was on antidepressants, like raised my prescriptions, and was getting panic attacks, like consistently throughout the day, like multiple. And then everyone kept saying, like, the first 2 years are rough. After that, it's going to be so much better. But then
Who was saying that? Was that your dad saying that?
It was my dad saying that. It was him and a lot of other people who were my age.
Okay.
They weren't happy. They were, I guess, like a regular amount of depressed. That was considered normal for them. But they managed to get through it. I don't know how they did it, and I still don't know it to this day. Like, they were never nearly as bad as I was. And I don't know what they have that I don't, but I just couldn't do it anymore.
Resilience, AJ.
They have skill, I guess. They're just better than me. No. But yeah, everyone was saying after a couple of years it'd be better. But then, like, I looked at the people that were 5 years ahead of me. They were miserable. 10 years ahead of me, they were miserable. And the people at the highest up were not happy either. So I was like, what the hell am I doing here?
What were the signs that they were miserable? And also, do you feel like when you look at your dad, you're like, he's miserable?
Well, I think he loves it more than I do. And he didn't do investment banking. I think that's like a different thing. He loves trading. I didn't become a trader. So my job was a little different than what I was watching when I was 10. But he loves trading, and like he loves the run and gun attitude throughout the day. Yeah,
But he's giving you advice, right? He's saying just get over the first 2 years, but yet he's never been through that experience.
Right. He just didn't. He didn't want me to quit. He really did not want me to quit.
What about your mom? What did she say?
She didn't want me to quit. No one wanted me to quit.
How about siblings? Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother and a sister. They didn't want me to quit.
Are they also in finance?
No.
Okay.
No. But they knew, because the paycheck coming out of college is very, very high, and it goes up very fast. And everyone saw that if I quit, I'm losing out on all this money.
How much are we talking about? 100, 200, 300?
I think like first year, like if you include like the regular bonus, it's like, I want to say like 140, 150. Like first year.
Wow, first year out of college.
Yeah, that's everyone's reaction. So
oh my gosh.
So they're like, how can you quit?
Yeah.
But like,
I kind of feel like if I did that instead of medicine, like, because you know what happens first year out of college, we're getting what, 30,000 as a resident, and then 40,000 as a fellow.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend who was my age, and he became a doctor, and I told him what my salary was, and he's like, yeah, I chose the wrong field.
I know.
It's like I fucked up.
Yeah, I think I fucked up too.
Maybe, but I think you would have. I mean, you probably would have lasted longer than I have, but you have that creative desire inside. I think that's what separated me from them. I really wanted to do stuff and create stuff instead of just being a pawn forever. And I think maybe you would have had a similar reaction. I think that's what separated me from everyone else who was so willing to just be there 24/7.
Well, here's what I think is so courageous, AJ, is you got all this incredible pressure on you from your family. And I think that is a very difficult thing to go through when everybody else tells you, the people that are closest to you, they want what's best for you, and they they've known you their whole life, and they have the biggest influence on you, and you're saying, no, I can't do it anymore. How did that conversation go with them?
It was brutal. And I didn't have that conversation with them once. Like, I would say, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have to quit. And they would say, no, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. And this was, like, every sibling. So, you know, so I keep thinking that I'm wrong. And I wasn't in a good place at the time. I was very, like, my mental health was really off. So I was like, okay, maybe they know better than me. Like, I'm not in a good position to really make a big decision right now. So I kept going, and things just kept getting worse and worse until, like, I really didn't have a choice anymore. And I think, like, in hindsight, I mean, at the time, the depression and the panic attacks were awful, and I wouldn't wish them on anybody. But if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have quit, because I think that's what gave me the courage to do it. I think, like, my subconscious or soul or whatever you believe in or whatever was telling me, you got to get the fuck out of here. You're supposed to be doing something else.
Yeah.
And so I'm really grateful in hindsight for the depression, ironically. I mean, now I still have depression and it kind of sucks. But, like, in retrospect, I'm glad that I have it in some way.
Yeah. So what was the final draw that you're like, I'm done with this job? Did you tell your parents before you quit, or did you say, I'm quitting?
Oh, yeah.
And then you put the resignation letter? How did that work?
I told them that I'm quitting. They knew it was coming, and I kind of, like, procrastinated a little bit, and then I just did it. I think I don't know if it was, like, a big straw that broke the camel's back. I think it was like I just reached my end. Like, I couldn't do one more day of this.
Wow.
It was like one of those. It was really tough. It was one of the most difficult decisions, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and who's now my fiance, but and she was so used to me having this career and stuff like that, and, like, going from that to unemployed, you know, is a little scary. I didn't have. It's not like I had a job lined up. I quit and had nothing planned.
Wow.
And that was also another fear.
How long did it go before you said, I'm moving from New York City to LA? Like,
that was probably a year and a half to 2 years.
How much time did you need to figure out what you wanted to do with your life once you quit?
So
what was the process like?
So I remember I was thinking about, so I was unemployed. The day after I quit, like, I was unemployed. I had no idea what the hell I was going to do with my life. And I was so sure I wanted to be in finance. That was the thing. So I was like, how the hell did this happen? And then I was making a list of, like, things that I can do. And, like, I couldn't think of anything. I think one of them was, like a criminal investigator or something, like something ridiculous, like something that, like, if you have, like, a 5-year-old kid, like, what they would want to do when they grow up, like, was my list. Like, maybe, like, astronaut was on there, like,
fireman, you know,
yeah, exactly.
anything.
And I was like, I'm fucked. I really thought, like, my life was fucked. Until, so coincidentally, a friend of mine who I grew up with, he was a comedian. Or he is a comedian, and he had a show coming up that, like, all my friends were going to because we knew him from, like, high school and stuff like that. And he did a show, and I went to it, which is something I never would have been able to do because I was too busy in investment banking.
This was a stand-up show or an improv show, or what
It was like I guess a one-man show. It wasn't necessarily stand-up, but he was doing, like, a character.
Okay.
And it was a wild show. And it's not the type of comedy that I do. But I just thought it was so cool that he was pursuing this, and, like, his work week was all about doing this show, going to venues and performing. And that was the first time that I realized that pursuing something creative or in comedy was even possible. Like, I never thought that it was an option until I saw that show.
Because you're inundated with finance from your family. You don't see anything in the outside.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They always it always felt like pursuing something in the arts was like a silly little thing that, you know, you give up early on. And then I saw it as an option, and I was like, holy fuck, I want to do that. And I pursued that. And
so then immediately after, what was your going through your mind?
So I immediately signed up for UCB in New York.
Okay.
Which is like a comedy school for, like, improv and, like, sketch writing.
Yeah.
And I loved sketch writing and was doing really well in that. And I just fell in love with the whole thing. I always knew I was interested in comedy my whole life, just never considered pursuing it. like I remember as a kid, like watching Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, It's Always Sunny. Like I always like, there's a part of me that wanted to do that. And I was like, God, I wish I could do that. But, I can't for some reason. Yeah.
And then you started at UCB, and did you discover the first class you take? This was like, why did I not know about this? Was it the happiest moment in your life?
It was like, I think like an epiphany. Because like everyone was so like nice, which is very strange. Like investment banking, everyone's, they're kind of dicks.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, everyone's nice here. What is this?
Yeah.
And, and like everyone was like supportive of each other. And I was like, this is a really cool environment. And then, I started writing some sketches, and then it would make the room laugh, and like that was like the greatest feeling in the world. And then that sense of fulfillment I never had before, and I became like addicted to that.
It was a fulfillment and also a realization that, I do have the ability to create and make funny things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's a great thing about comedy is like hearing the laughs. It's pretty objective in a way. It's subjective and objective. You either hear the laughs or you don't. And making people laugh was the greatest thing ever. And then it happened again and again. And like, I just fell in love with that. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
You got your validation from something else rather than.
Yeah. Everything was external, nothing internal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you decided to move to LA. What was, before I get into that though, did you still have the same girlfriend? Did she support you?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
good.
And that meant a ton to me.
Oh, okay.
She stuck with me through like the most difficult time in my life. And I always appreciate that. And I still bring it up to this day. Like, I don't know, I was not in a good place.
Yeah.
It was not easy. And then, plus moving to LA was also another huge obstacle in our relationship. But before that, so I went from sketch writing to TV writing.
Okay.
And then I had a teacher who I can't remember his name. It was kind of a while ago. No, his name is Jerry. But and then I was writing in his class, and at one point, like he like pulled me aside and like said like you should go to LA or like you should really pursue this, and like that was another sense of validation externally, nothing internal. I don't.
Oh.
Everything's all about the external. And then I just kept writing every day, getting better, and moved to LA.
Pulled the trigger to go to LA.
Yeah.
Now you're in LA. You need some money
Yeah,
because you got to
always.
live here.
Yeah.
You're probably not making money through your writing yet.
Nope.
No. And so what are the multiple side hustles that you're like, I need to pick up something in order to have a marathon on this so I can stay out here and do this forever?
I think I did like Postmates for like a day. I did like one day of that, but ordering Postmates like 4 times a day. So there was like a net negative. What did I? Oh, I took a marketing job, like selling Amazon products. That was one job. A lot of like some remote work, some editing stuff. A lot of side things that didn't make a lot of money. And also I had so much debt on my credit card. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
You still have debt.
Oh yeah, it's still there. It's one of those things that doesn't go away.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Until I make it big. So one day.
Or until you declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, I think I should do that. I should do that
Just
next.
reset everything.
On my way out, I'm going to go declare bankruptcy.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of things actually like riding on your shoulder right now. You've got all this stuff that you have to pay back, and you're doing your side hustle, but you're also, writing. And how do you push through that on a daily basis? What do you think it is that says, I don't care if I'm in debt. I don't care if I have to hustle. This is the job that I want to stay in. What keeps you inspired?
It's what I love to do, honestly. I think I developed a routine where every morning I'm writing for a few hours. And like if I don't write for whatever reason, I just feel like shit the whole day. Like my day is like ruined. So I make sure that I write every single day in the morning. And I think I've had a few successes that really gave me some confidence as well. Like I've optioned out like 4 pilots.
Wow, you optioned 4 pilots.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. To 3 different production companies. So I think that's like pretty cool. So it's not like it's just one over and over that happens to like my stuff. There's 3 different ones that I had to prove myself to. So that was pretty cool. I've been paid to write a pilot. that kind of propelled me forward. And yeah, and it's overall just what I want to do. Like, I don't even have a plan B anymore. Like, because I know what it's like. I know what I can go back to, and I'm never going back to that again. Yeah. So there's no plan B. So that, I mean, I guess that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. It's too big to fail.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an option. Just gotta keep going.
What? So okay, well that answers the question of would you ever go back to it? And you say no. What are the biggest obstacles you face now?
Honestly, getting read. Like getting your script read is difficult because no one wants to really read things, or it takes a while to read, or they have like a million scripts in front of them. So like, I think even getting read is really difficult, and also like you want to write like a really good pilot that's so good that it doesn't matter who's reading it; they know that it's great. Probably the biggest obstacle is being really, really good. That's the toughest.
And that just takes time.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
takes a lot of time. Yeah. Takes a lot of rejections.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have a question for you, though.
Okay.
So I left investment banking like after like 1 year, but I think you left your field after like a longer career.
Yeah, I was an assistant professor at MD Anderson Cancer Center. I was at the very, top of the food chain. I was like a senator there. I was teaching fellows and residents. I was director of a blood bank, and I was publishing a lot of research, so I was an academic physician. I have like 22 peer-reviewed articles and books and books chapters. So I was doing kind of the thing that academically, my parents would be proud of.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
My parents are proud of me once.
Do you talk to your parents still?
Yeah. Like now, like after the fact, and after like a few like good things happening, like, oh yeah, I'm supportive. But I remember. I fucking remember. But my question is, so like you were successful.
Yeah.
I wasn't. So I feel like it's a little easier for me to leave than you. So I'm curious what it was like for you after, putting in a decent amount of time into your career.
Well, to me, the draw for me to go into a creative field or being something was never about success, Like I was very successful financially and academically, but I was 30 pounds overweight. I was like 190. Oh, wow. I was eating tres leches every day, like a tub of it, and like big star pizza. I was like, I've done everything my parents said that would make me happy.
Yep.
And I'm not happy at all. I am miserable doing this. What is going on? My life is easy. I don't have to worry about anything. But the first acting class I took, I was reconnected to the wonder that I had as a 5-year-old doing a play, or it might have been 6. And when that, for years, I just had squashed my acting, just because like I was like, I'm going to do academics. But when I took that first acting class, I was like, how did I forget about this?
Right.
I was happy instantaneously, and I started taking care of myself. I couldn't believe how much joy I had from it, and I said, I have to do this.
Right. I think that we forget what it's like to enjoy something. Like, as soon as I got laughs at UCB, I was like, holy shit, what is this? It's like this is, but it's just like joy that you felt as a kid.
Yeah.
That we all throw away because we think that's what we're supposed to do.
Responsibilities.
Right. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No. It's important to listen to the inner voice rather than the external voices.
Yes.
And that's kind of what you have to train your mind to do. But I think it's very interesting that you still have a good relationship with your parents. Like I was not able to do that simply because for me, I just have to shut all the voices off and I have to just disappear and I have to focus on my inner voice. And that's the only way that I could do it. So we had 2 completely different ways of handling it. So I think I'm very proud of you and impressed with you that you have the courage to continue to talk to people, talk to your family, because I don't. I just want to listen to my inner voice,
Right.
I want to commend you for, really going after your dreams. I always thought when I first met you, I met you at Leslie Kahn and you were doing stand-up comedy. I'm like, this guy's so brave. He's so cool. He can do stand-up comedy. Oh my gosh, I got to meet this dude.
Yeah. I mean, I was not, I mean, I guess you can call it brave, but I was I remember the first time I did stand-up, I was the most scared person you can possibly be. That's why I think anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I can do it, and with my anxiety, like, anyone could do it, and probably should do it at least once. But, like, I remember the first time I went up, it was an open mic in New York, and I couldn't go up the first time that I was there. I didn't even, like, put my name in for consideration. I just watched everyone else doing open mics.
Yeah.
And, like, 95% of them were terrible. So I was like, okay, these guys are terrible. I can't be that bad.
Yeah.
But even still, it took me, like, 6 tries of actually showing up to open mics before I even put my name in.
Wow.
Then I finally put my name in. And then I was about to be called, and I walked the fuck out. I left. I did not want to go up. And then the next time I went up, and I did really well. And then I think that was another big turning point. Doing well on my first open mic, big turning point. Yeah.
Always believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Never underestimate.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're all way more capable of creative things, or really anything in general, than we think.
Absolutely. We can do anything we want to. It's all a mindset. It's
Right.
all about having that inner voice and being comfortable with what you're saying.
Right.
You can achieve anything you want to.
There are so many funny people that would be great at stand-up, just don't think that it's an option for them, or are too afraid. And
So here's
pretty
your
good.
sign. You got 2 people that do stand-up comedy. We were both scared.
yeah,
If you want to do stand-up comedy, you can do it. I believe in you. AJ believes in you. You should just sign up and just try it. Just try it once. That's all I'm saying.
100%. There's a great quote. I think Will Smith said it, but he might have taken it from someone else. But, like, if you can't do it, or if you can't beat the fear, do it scared. Like, something like that. Like, it's okay to do it scared. And I was terrified. Like, I was nauseous.
Yeah.
Like, I can't eat before I go up.
Yeah.
I was terrified, and then, after a while it goes away. But you're supposed to be afraid. Even professionals still are very scared before they go up. They're nervous.
It means you care.
Right. It means you care, and also it's fucking scary. Dude, you're in in front of a crowd of people trying to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Like, out of nowhere. It's not easy, but you should try it. Everyone should try it.
Yeah, I will say that when I saw AJ doing stand-up comedy, I thought, I'm never going to do that. That's too hard. And I eventually did do it, and I kind of wish that I'd started earlier now.
Right. Now you've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done it a bunch of times. For that one person out there that's thinking about going after their dream job in a creative field, what advice do you have for them?
Well, if they're stuck in, like, a regular job that they're considering leaving and have considered it for a long time because they want to do XYZ, do it. Do it. Just leave. You can do it. You're more capable than you thought. And for me, I was really afraid of the regret of not pursuing something later on. Like, I didn't want to be 80 and wish that I've done something completely different my entire life.
Absolutely.
And then my other piece of advice is focus on being really good at what you do, and then things will come from that.
Excellent piece of
Yeah.
advice. I agree with both of those. That's kind of what pushes me as well. Just this fear of being on my deathbed and regretting that I hadn't tried this one thing that I wanted to do my whole life.
To me, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, AJ, it's been a great pleasure talking with you. Thanks for coming on board. I look forward to being in your TV pilots in the future.
You will. You'll be there. You'll be there.
Okay.
Appreciate you having me, and hopefully we inspired at least one person to
If we just inspire one person,
go bankrupt like me.
go bankrupt, and hopefully you won't end up on the streets.
Yeah.
And go for it. Go for it.
Go for it. Absolutely.